everyone, and welcome to Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails, the weekly podcast that helps you grow your business, improve your life, and enjoy yourself along the way. I'm your host, Alan Langer, and every week we try to bring you the best thought leaders, the best business leaders, and the best minds out there to help you succeed in business and in life. So sit back, relax, grab your pad, your pen, and your favorite beverage, and enjoy the next episode of Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails. Hey everyone, Alan Langer here, and we are talking marketing and sales over cocktails. I'm so excited tonight. This is the inaugural podcast. This is the very first podcast I'm starting, hopefully to be one of many. And I can't think of a better person to help me kick this off than our guest tonight. I'll get into who she is in a second, but just to talk about what this podcast is and my goal behind it. I'm calling it marketing and sales, but I did it over cocktails because I wanted it to be more entertaining and not very stuffy. We're going to have conversations that's going to help you grow your business. It's going to help you improve your online life, but we're also going to have some fun. We're going to let the conversations take us where they go. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, and I'm lining up some great guests for you. So I really hope you enjoy this. This is podcast number 1, numero uno, and I am now going to introduce my very first guest. And she is of LinkedIn fame. If you're on LinkedIn, you've probably heard of her. She's one of the top, she was voted in 2019 one of the top LinkedIn voices. She helps companies increase their online presence. What she writes here on her LinkedIn profile is she talks about helping businesses acquire new customers and build their brand with a modern approach. Her name is Sam Downs. I am so excited to have Sam with us. Sam, welcome to the podcast. How are you tonight? I'm well. Thanks for having me. It's awesome. It's your first episode, and so congrats, and thank you for allowing me to be your first guest. Wow, it's an honor. No, it's awesome. When I was lining up people that I wanted to speak to, you were right at the top of my list. Sam knows that I do this weekly virtual networking function, and it's really turned into quite a group. And I had Sam do a presentation a couple of weeks ago on the group, and now she's part of the group. And it was one of the more popular presentations we had. So Sam is awesome. I'm going to have her tell you a little bit about her and what she does, and then we'll just get into some things. But first, after she does that, we're going to talk about what we're drinking tonight too. So go ahead, Sam. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Yes. So now I quit my corporate America job, and I went full into what I'm doing now. I started an engagement agency, and that's helping people acquire new customers and keep them engaged with content, and specifically LinkedIn, and just trying to build their presence and online brand as well. But before that, I was and taking my drift in many different industries. I was here and there and everywhere. I went to car sales. I did retail sales, phone sales, telecom, insurance sales. And then here I am. So it's been a journey, and it's been really fun. But yeah, it's about me, and I'm a mama too, really 3, including my husband. And the juggle is real, as we say. The juggle is real. So you were a car salesman, is that right? Yes. What did you sell? What kind of cars? Years. So I sold used cars. Then I went to like a Subaru and Chevy dealership combined. And then I went to a Toyota dealership. Wow. So before we get into all this, because I just find you're fascinating. And by the way, everyone, she's only, 26, I think? 26, I heard you 26. So I wish I knew what she did when I was 26, because I'd probably be on a beach somewhere rather than doing a podcast right now. However, you'd be doing a podcast on a beach, though. On a beach, from the beach. Exactly. So, but what I want to talk about before we get into is I'm a big connoisseur of really good cocktails and alcohol, and I just like that whole how things are made and everything. So I'm partaking tonight in a little bit of Whistle Pig straight rye whiskey. Ooh. And it's right here on the rocks. I know some connoisseurs are going to say it shouldn't be on the rocks, but it is, because that's how I like it. And you have tequila, right? Yeah, I got some Patron here. There's some Patron. So we've got Whistle Pig and Patron on the. I don't think we can get much better than that on the first. On the rocks. So cheers to that. So I'm I'm fascinated on how you went from all of those different sales positions, which I'm sure you were successful in, to what you're doing now. Like, you basically quit your corporate stuff and you said, I'm going to start my own agency or whatever. So tell me how that went.
Yeah, so it was obviously pre-COVID. I actually gave them a month and a half notice, and which I would not recommend people do.
Oh, before COVID, you did that?
Yes.
Wow.
It was in February I gave my notice. My last day was on like March 5th. It was at the end of March. It was at the end of March.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just crazy because I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I had like a lot of pending clients, but I did have like some that I worked with, not like really contract clients, as much as you should have when you start, full, when you go full all in. And then like COVID hit, and, a lot of those people kind of went dead on me because I'm like the first type of, services to go when these type of things happen.
What position were you in pre-COVID?
So I was like inside sales and a customer relationship manager for a telecom company.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like helped manage a channel of like hundreds of partners. And actually a lot of those relationships came trickling down, and they're like, we know what you can do. So it was kind of beneficial for both parties involved if I kind of just, did what I'm doing. And a lot of those people kind of went ghost because of obviously what happened. So I was
exactly.
Like, oh my gosh, I have a mortgage, I have 2 kids. What am I going to do? But things really sped up for me, and I'm just so thankful to tell the tale because it's been a stressful last few months, to be honest.
What do they say? When one door closes, another one opens, right?
That's true. Yes, that's true.
So tell us what you're doing now. So you started your own gig, and what exactly do you do with that gig? Like, how do you help people and companies?
So I basically help them with prospecting and like with content creation and anything other like marketing and branding related to as well. Do some graphics for them and just really get them on track to having, because a lot of, especially like tech companies, and it's crazy because they should be doing this number one. They should be having a social media presence, but they don't. And it's like, it's really sad because they're a lot of them are from an older generation. So now they're just kind of getting into everything. They're switching all of their services and getting their clients up to speed. And another part of that is that they have trouble finding new customers and selling the product, and that's why I kind of my core focus on the tech industry. But yeah, I'm trying to help them with prospecting. I build relationships for them on LinkedIn. And offline too, via cold calling, and try to set appointments for them and help fulfill the sale if I have to. But yeah.
So one of the things that I learned from you when you were doing your presentation on the group that I have was getting into LinkedIn and possibly using Sales Navigator and how to really engage in LinkedIn. And you taught me some things that you got a little angel on the side there.
Yes. Hang on,
I get it. So give us, if someone's listening to this podcast and they're on LinkedIn and they don't really know what to do you give them like 1 or 2 tips that you would say, this is what you should be doing on LinkedIn every single day? What would those 2 things be?
Number 1, posting, whether it's something that's an update or something. And then number 2, engaging. And actually, you should be like messaging too, but I think those are really important too as well, is engaging in others' content and then posting yourself for sure.
So when you say engaging, so you see a post that you like it, do you actually comment on it? Is it better from a LinkedIn standpoint to comment on that?
Oh, for sure. And it's just giving value back to the community, especially if you have a target market and you know who that target market is. Mm-hmm. And if you really want to use that to your advantage, then definitely start engaging in their content first and trying to build a relationship that way, and put them in your pipeline to reach out, send them a message, and give them a call later on if that proceeds. Well,
that was one of the things I learned from you is like engage, find your target market, do a search for who your target market is, whether they're, business owners or sales managers, whatever they could be, and then engage in their content first before you just send them a message and say, hey, I'm great, buy my stuff, because everybody hates that, to get that kind of message on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was that person. Like when I worked for that other company, like prior to me creating content, was about like a year ago, I want to say, almost a full year ago. And I would do that. I would spam them and not really know that until like I saw a lot of people say like on LinkedIn, like creating content and pieces of content that'd be like, we don't like this, like stop doing this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I really learned a lot from other people. So it's like just nice to give back to that knowledge, because it's a lot of us, pretty much all of us make when we first join on LinkedIn for a salesperson.
I think it's a mistake that everyone makes. And then they continue to keep making it because they're not really paying attention. It's the same thing that when you do, if you do an email funnel or an email campaign, if you're not paying it, if you're not doing that, offering value, you're just selling stuff. You're not going to be perceived as anything, as someone who can actually give that customer value, because it comes down to that. But the opportunity with online right now is so huge, especially with COVID, that we just had everyone now in front of a computer every single day, all day long. The amount of content we can give and the value we can give has just exploded exponentially. And you're a great example of that.
Thank you.
So when you give, I see your videos are hilarious. The one you just did with the movie, Sam just did, just so everybody knows, she did, what was it? Eight little skits.
Yeah.
Yes, the movie. So she did a skit from a movie. She did it herself. I knew the first one was Risky Business with what's his name?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. So she did all of these, and then it was guess. Her thing was guess the movie skits, and she got a ton of people engaging with that. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, well, it's just a nice little fun way, and obviously I try to make it a balance, because if you're trying to be serious and sell a service too, you want to have a balance of that content. You can't just like make a joke of yourself all the time. Having a nice balance of that, like try to do it like every Friday or something, is fun and well for me. But yeah, people love it. They really do.
Yeah, it's really great stuff. And what's neat is you're putting yourself out there, and it's like the one thing when we were discussing last week, I don't think you were on the call last week, but one of the things that we were talking about was you can't be afraid to put yourself out there, because the people who put themselves out there are the people who are going to succeed. And if you get your detractors and you get the people who don't like it, you know what? That's a very small percentage, because most of the people really appreciate you doing that and putting content out and really helping them and engaging with them. So.
Yeah, what's crazy too is a lot of people like message me and they say like, thank you, like you helped me like come out of my shell. And it's just so important to just give back to people. And to just say like, hey, it's okay to be yourself, and it's okay to put yourself out there, because we're not going to judge you. Like some may, of course, you get hateful comments even on LinkedIn, but it's just the benefits are just so amazing, because you see people giving you so much love and positivity. It's such a blessing.
Let's actually, that point you just made, I want to explore that for a minute. You just said sometimes you're going to get a negative comment because you're putting yourself out there.
Yep.
I actually just got one. So I've been doing, for the first time ever, I was experimenting with an email funnel. Mm-hmm. I've done sales funnels, but this was a specific email funnel that I was experimenting with. And of course, you get the unsubscribes, or you get the take me off of this list, which is fine. But I got a guy send me a very nasty message on LinkedIn with, I'm not kidding, 7 F-bombs in it.
Wow.
On LinkedIn. His company's there, his name's there. And I'm like, first of all, like, what are you doing in a professional environment? And here's the way. So I was actually kind of proud of how he handled it, because I was ready just to fire back and go after him. And I just took a deep breath and I walked away.
Good for you.
And then a half hour later, I came back and I wrote a very professional response saying, I'll take care of the unsubscribing. Have a great Saturday. It was a Saturday night too. Have a great Saturday night. That's all I wrote. And I didn't hear from him again. But when you get, and again, I can't imagine you getting a negative one, but there's people out there that they're just not happy. So if you get a negative one, how do you respond to it?
So, okay, there's a few different ways to do this. Like, and I know a lot of time it's immature of me. So please don't take this advice if you feel the need, if you don't feel the need. But sometimes if it's like a funny comment and they're really trying to bring me down, sometimes I have fun with it. I know at times you're not supposed to do that, but like I obviously like have fun with it in a very professional manner. If not, I'll just delete it and block it. But But I have to make a point of this because I feel like it's confession time. I've had a few sips of Patron in me, but I actually this guy sent me a horrible, nastiest comment I've ever received. Like, I don't even want to repeat it. Like, it was
on LinkedIn?
Yeah, it was just so nasty for everyone to see. So I saw his company name, and I got his address from Google. It's 2020, we can do that.
Yeah.
And I actually, you can actually anonymously ship like a glitter bomb that like you open the package and like 3 ounces of glitter just shoot out, and it's like the hardest to clean up. I sent that to him, and I just couldn't help myself. I'm like, you want to mess with a woman? I was like, okay, all right, guy, I'm going to send you 3 ounces of pink glitter, and you're going to have it keyboard forever and remind me of me. Oh
my God, that's awesome. Now I'm going to get a lot of comments asking me where to get glitter bombs from.
It's so easy to find. Just Google it.
Well, you know what? I mean, that's actually a pretty good way to handle it. I was actually writing a letter to an email to the owner of the company he works for saying, this is the kind of person you got working for you. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm all about positive energy thrown out to the universe. And that would just be a lot of negative stuff that I threw out there. And I just stopped. I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I feel better that I did that. And I haven't heard from him since. Otherwise, the other thing you have to be careful of, and see if you agree with me, I think you probably do, is we're out there now. We have our own company.
Oh, yes.
We got to make sure we get good reviews. I mean, we're going to get good reviews, but if you get some, pardon my language, some asshole saying, F you, I don't like your post, and then you go back to him and he's like, well, now I'm going to give you a 1-star review. You're screwed.
Yeah.
A 1-star review is there.
It's crazy because people don't realize in the age of social media, in the age of Google, and how powerful a written review online is. They did a study, and it's like 90% better than a word of mouth referral. They accept it just as much as a word to mouth referral.
Yeah.
And it's like, so in the age of social media, it's so detrimental to your brand and your company. So you always got to be kind to people. It's like not even just for that, but as a human, like, why do you want to spread that hate around? Like, I can't come to terms with it.
I know.
But all I know is they've been through something really horrible as a child, or, in their young adult life that made them this way. So, it's all they can do at that time. So it's like, it makes me feel better about it. And as soon as I look through that perspective, well, what happened in that person's life that makes them like that?
Yeah. And, I have a friend of mine who literally, this is a great example, not from an online standpoint, but from a personal standpoint. She just got a dog on Saturday.
Aww.
She's got 3 kids. They got a shelter pit bull mix. They adopted. No one else wanted the dog. They got the dog. And the dog Saturday afternoon was barking at some Fisher cats or something in her backyard up a tree. And the neighbor, 2 hours after she got the dog, called the town ASPA because the dog was barking too much.
Oh my God.
What kind of person does that? Like, you're right. Like, you have to, you want to jump on this person. You're like, something happened to you that you made you miserable. You're sad for some reason, but wow, there are just some crazy people out there, and you got to realize when you're in the online world, they get a little crazier because they're hiding behind the computer.
Exactly. They would, no person would. I've never gotten a rude comment to my face. Maybe a few times, but I've never gotten a comment like the way I do online. Like, it's just, get real. And like, once I realized, like, say that to my face, like, come on, like, and they would never do it. Like, you come to a networking event, all the bad things about Sam Downs, that you hated this one video and I suck or whatever. No one's going to say that.
No. There was a comedian who was talking about that, and he said, imagine walking into an elevator. Like, he was talking about people in cars. In cars, the same thing. You scream at someone because you're hiding behind the car, right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine if you're in an elevator and you want to say the same thing. The person's right here, like, you suck. Like, you wouldn't do that. But you're in a car, you're behind a computer, and all of a sudden you have these metal muscles, and it's the human being is an interesting specimen. That's
really, they really are. They
really are. So this is cool stuff. So give me. So you talked about being on LinkedIn and posting and engaging as the top 2 things to do. You've been in sales. Okay. I have a whole book about how to be a salesperson that everybody likes, because the perception of salespeople out there is nobody wants to talk to us.
Right.
Ever. They don't want to be ripped off. They don't want to talk to the salesperson. They don't want the sales pitch. It's universal. Okay. And I have my whole book is about this. How do you handle that? Like when you're in a position where you finally have an interesting client that you want to talk to, how do you become the person that they want to talk to and not the salesperson that they're dreading to talk to?
Yeah, that's a great question. I try to do like as little research I can about somebody. I'll try to look at their content and just kind of see like what kind of personality they're, and I can kind of pick up on it, even the things online. But if it's like a cold call or somebody that I'm just talking to over the phone, I really you can tell how someone's personality, how they answer the phone, their demeanor, especially if they don't know you're already on the phone. You have your whales, your dolphins, your urchins, and your sharks. And you try to mirror, and this is the oldest trick in the book, you know this, you try to mirror and match their personality. You try to kind of get on their level and trying to be likable. And you really just take the pitch out of it for a moment. Just try to like, hey, this is Sam, and just ask more about them, and really just try to get them going and asking questions and kind of getting comfortable with you. And then maybe ask what you have to offer or, your pitch that everyone needs. But yeah, it's like you really have to try to build a relationship and take a prospect out of the equation. Just talk to them like a person, like a human being, like how you would talk to your boss or, your friend or something. It's really what it is,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And when I do my sales training, I'm like, you have to focus, they're talking to you because they have a problem. Mm-hmm. You got in front of them because they have a problem. Mm-hmm. Focus on that problem. Don't focus on selling them. Focus on helping them solve their problem. Yeah. The selling will come because all the features and all that stuff, if it solves their problem, you don't have to get into the weeds about it. Yep. I like to use selling a copy machine as an example, or even selling a car. You sell a car. You can easily get into the weeds of all the features of a car. And all the guy wants to do is go from A to B. He could care less that you have an AM stereo or mag wheels or whatever brakes. Right. He just wants to know if I can get to work every day.
Exactly.
And you need to find that stuff out when you're a salesperson talking to someone, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because that's exactly how those tech owners I was telling you about, they're too focused, and in which their brain is powered this way. They are engineers. They like to figure out how it works. We as a consumer just care about like if the thing's gonna work. Like, is it gonna, if I plug it in the wall, is it gonna work? Is it gonna make my phone call? Is it gonna do this that I need it to do? The other things like we can give a shit about. And to be honest, like we probably will never use the features into its full capacity. We just need to know what works for our solution and our needs. And that's it. And it's our job as the sales rep to figure that out and to pull that out of them.
And to figure out what feature is the one that they want the most.
Exactly.
They're not going to want 25 features. They might want 2. And the problem sales reps get into is they feel like they need to talk about all 25 features. Feature
dumping. That's what we call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for the salespeople that are listening to this, it's not rocket science. It really isn't. But it's so many companies train opposite of that. They train to show every feature and benefit that the project or the service has without actually talking about the customer's needs. So, I've seen a little bit of a shift in that, but it's rampant. It's still, anytime you talk to someone, I ask everyone I meet, especially when I'm in a new situation, I'm giving a talk or something, I ask, do you like meeting with or talking to a salesperson? And I have yet to meet one person who said yes. And I talk to a lot of people.
I agree with you. I don't really like talking to salespeople.
No, I don't either.
And it's funny because like that's how I made a living for almost 10 years of my life.
Exactly.
So it's like, but it just goes to show you what the damage that we have to repair to every single person that we talked with every single day.
Yes.
We have to bridge that gap between what a past salesperson has done to them, ripped them off or whatever, to us. So it's like, it's 100%. So important to, make them see the light that not everyone is like this. So, and it's, like I said, it's our responsibility to do so.
You just nailed it right on the head, Sam. That's absolutely right. So we talked about LinkedIn. We talked about sales. Is there, so let's say that I want to ask you two questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a new sales rep. I'm 21 years old. I just got hired by this company. They told me to go on LinkedIn. I've never been on LinkedIn before. Now, you mentioned content stuff, but I don't have any content. Like, I don't know what to do. What would be your suggestion for that person just starting out who really is not confident enough to put content out there yet? They don't feel like they're the expert yet. So what would you suggest for that person?
I would say, number one, optimize your profile. Make it clear what you do. So then when you do get reviews and, when you go and engage with people, they can see exactly what you do. And then when you start feeling slowly comfortable, like I said, keep engaging with people. That's a time for you to build relationships, as many as you can, and try to build a little foundation. And if you want some tips and stuff, ask the people that you're engaging with. Maybe shoot them a message, hey, what would you like to see from me? And
that's a great point.
Yeah. And number one, just start. If you have no idea what you're doing, like if you're year one in sales, I would say go out and make content and just ask people questions like, hey, what is the best trait for the new sales rep to learn? Or what do you think is the most important thing to know about sales before I start for this rookie? And just kind of get people's opinions and talk about your journey thus far in school. Some things that have happened to you that has changed you as a person. There's so many things that you can do to really open up the door to start building your personal brand, even if you have no experience.
That's such a great point. And it brings to mind that I think right now we're moving into an area after COVID where vulnerability is important and being honest. And Brene Brown has been talking about this for years. Vulnerability is strength, actually. If you can show that you're vulnerable and say, listen, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but if you can help me, or this is the mistake I made, I think people are much more apt to like you than not.
People respect that. And honesty is contagious. And being yourself and authenticity is contagious.
Yes.
And it just inspires more people, and it just brings more people out of their shell on LinkedIn. And just imagine a world when there was no fake people and fake relationships. Like, imagine how awesome that's going to be. And I believe it's a start within,
We can all dream, right?
Yeah, right. It's just like we grew up, like even in millennials, we grew up on reality TV, like crazy, expectations of women that we've had to try to, succumb to. And then here we are, like it's all up to us to change that and to, change within and to have that perception changed of us. So yeah, it's awesome.
See, this is why I have you on my first podcast. Okay. Final question. And this is for the veteran. This is for the guy and the gal that's been out there. They're on LinkedIn. They're just floating along and they're not doing bad, but they're not doing great. And they really want to up their game. They're like, okay, I need to do something, but they don't know really where to start. What would you tell them? Because now they probably have a ton of content in their brain, but maybe they don't know how to do anything with it. So what would be your suggestion or your recommendation to that?
Yeah, collab with other little creators or even bigger creators. This is where I say, like, to keep those relationships kind of building. And then if you reach out to somebody like me or somebody like with a smaller amount of following, maybe not like 30,000 followers or, one of those people, but then ask them like, hey, I have some great ideas and I don't really know how to make something out of it. Like, would you want to collaborate with me? And, then either do it via video or an interview type style series, whatever it is. And so many people are willing to help others and to help because we want to show people how we did it. You know what I mean? I'm speaking for myself, but there's a lot of people that really want to help others, especially if you say, hey, like I'm a struggling creator or, wannabe creator and I don't really know where to start, but I have ideas.
Yeah.
I would be all over that for sure.
Yeah, you're right. And I just think, LinkedIn, it's just such a great platform when you really get into it because it kind of gets rid of all the social crap that's out there. It's not about You don't get cat videos and all that stuff on LinkedIn. It's really all professional, but it also has a very nice feeling of help.
Yeah.
You know, there are people that are selling stuff on LinkedIn and they're spamming you, but it's really not like it is on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. It's completely different. So the people who aren't even on LinkedIn, and I'm sure there's some in the audience that probably are not, you got to get on it. Number one, if you're a business person, you have to get on it. And
you know what's the craziest thing is that I deleted my Facebook almost 2 years ago.
Did you really?
Yes. And my whole perception of life has changed.
No kidding.
I was so mad. I was like one of those people that would sit there and argue with like my opinion. My opinion was more superior than others. And it took me a lot to realize that. And like, wow, I kind of sucked. You know what I mean? And so like taking a lot of that and changing myself within was all from getting off of negative platforms and consuming negative content every single day. And LinkedIn, when I consume content there, I feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
Aside from others, but it's such a game changer, and I just have such a love for it. There's things that are changing about it that a lot of people don't like, and you know, frankly, I don't really like either. But there's only 1% of users that are sharing content. It's just mind blowing. Like, is
that the actual number? Yes. So there's 60 million, right?
No, it's like 680 million as of 2020. The 1% was a 2019 number, but it was late 2019, so it may have risen a little bit. But
so out of 680 million people, only 1% is sharing content.
Yes.
That's crazy.
1% of their own content. So everyone's like, oh, no, I can't, because, you know, there's so many creators on there. It's flooded. Like, I can't do this. Like, I won't be exposed. I know people that have literally started 3 months ago. Jonathan Palmer, 3 months ago, 90 days ago. He has a following of 20,000 people starting to.
Really?
Yes. Just crazy growth. And it's just all possible from just being yourself, putting out content, giving people value, and just having fun with it.
And that's the biggest thing. It's like what I've gotten from LinkedIn is not only everything you've talked about, but I actually love meeting people. Like I that's how we met. I saw a post that you made and I looked at your profile. I'm like, wow, she's big time. And I sent you a note and I'm like, I'd love to chat with you. And here we are now on a podcast. And that's how I've met quite a few I've got 4 other people booked. I've got one lady, I don't know if you ever heard of Suffolk. She's got one.
Yes.
She's got like 30,000, whatever her number of followers. She's actually going to be on my podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I just asked. It was like, here's this huge, big time LinkedIn person. I'm like, I'm just going to ask. So you can only say no. And she said, yeah. So there's so many nice people on there that are going to help. And but everybody has so much information and such valuable content. That's why I started this, because there's so many brilliant minds out there that I want to talk to. So it's just so amazing. And I encourage everyone to really get on there. And if not, you don't want to start creating content, just get your feet wet a little bit. Just go on the platform, make a profile, put a profile picture up, and just starting absorbing content and just, you know, following certain hashtags that are within your industry, your interests. And it's really going to change your life. Like, I hate to be one of those people like, you need to drink this Kool-Aid. It needs to change your life. Like, no. You need to drink your Patron.
Yeah. But it's true. Like, it's amazing. And I can't rave enough about it.
Awesome. Well, I know you've got a couple of little ones that are probably begging for your attention right now. So
it's past bedtime.
Yes, let's end with this. So tell everyone how they can find you. If there's a website or a way they can find you, please let everybody know, because, you know, if they want to figure out how to work on LinkedIn, you're the person to talk to. So what do they need to do?
Yeah, they can just look me up on LinkedIn. I'm not really here to really promote. I appreciate that. But so just look up Sam Downs and see my face. And just connect with me. And I love meeting new people. So shoot me a message and let me know you're a listener of this show. I'll show you extra attention. And
All right. So it's Sam, S-A-M Downs, D-O-W-N-S. So Sam Downs, 2 syllables. It's easy. And Sam, thank you so much for being my first guest. I think
this was having me.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I want to thank everyone for listening. So again, this is the Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails podcast. I am Alan Langer with the 7 Secrets Center for Sales and Marketing. And there'll be a bunch of show notes and there'll be links. I'm going to put a link to Sam's profile, even though she probably doesn't want me to, but that'll be in the show notes when I get that all set. So thanks for joining, and we will see everyone next week. Bye, everybody.